Thank you. I'm here to talk a little bit on what happens inside the factories. So those ones that just work with logistics, you're free to leave. I'm actually talking about how we transform the shop floor and really boosting efficiency, because that's what's all about in manufacturing. And then also how we really work with digitalization and automation to do that. So that's what I'm going to talk about the next 20 minutes. Like the other two speakers, I'm telling a little bit who we are. You look a little bit older than our core consumers, so you might have a childhood memory of us, but we are completely different than we were when some of us were younger. I will talk a little bit what's important to us as a global brand, and then I will come into these different topics of machine learning, how to optimize the condition-based maintenance. I will talk a little bit to that. Data democracy to the shop floor, and then also a lot into energy efficiency. The company, really proud of being family-owned, almost turning 100 years in 9 years from now, being second consecutive year, being the most reputational brand in the world. We are truly global. It's the same product that's sold all over the world. We never acquired another company, so everything has is coming from organic growth. We are around 28,000 people globally, and then we were awarded as one of the most influential companies when we started to work with our sustainability, because it's no secret, and we've been super transparent about that our products are based on fossil-based oil, and we've been super open what we can do to transform the product into a more sustainable future. The company here stands for one thing, and they come here, those fantastic creatures. Children are role models for us. Children possesses innovation and creativity that somehow is de-learned through when we get older. I don't know if the school systems or whatever happens to us, but children, they combine stuff that adults have long forgotten how to do, and that's why we try every day and work a little bit harder every day to inspire these fantastic children. And just to mention a little bit fun fact you can remember when you get home tomorrow, that is we really talk about the Lego brick as endless creativity. And if you combine these 6 bricks, then there is a mathematician that have calculated that this can be 915 million different combinations. So, the truth is actually when it happens, when people around the world never ever seen Lego bricks before they get it into their hands first time, they can actually decouple the system. I think that's because intuitively creation is something we all possesses. How actually it's not true. The real thing you can do first is tear down what your sibling just did. But otherwise, it's one of those things we all can do. So when we bring products out to new parts of the world, people can decode the system, and that is really fantastic. That's what I'm here to talk about really, is our strategic priorities, and 2 of them. And we have 4, but today I will only talk about 2 of them. So first of all, innovating replay, that's what we're here to always do, finding new products and new offerings. And then innovating retail, and I thought, I know there's a lot of these, in the audience that want to talk about that, and we can do that in the breakout session. But I'm talking here about the digital transformation and how we really boost the environmental impact and make a positive future for everyone. What our commitment to the science-based targets is really this, that we want to be 100% sustainable, base everything by sustainable energy, what we do. We have a lot of commitments to reduce the energy in everything we do. Everyone knows about the ESG reporting. And we have decided that by 2032, our products are based out of sustainable materials. It's a massive journey when you use high-quality plastics as we do, and really finding how that could work together. And we have a huge program where we really are investing a lot in that. However, As mentioned in the beginning, I would actually take you through these ideas of how we do it. And I will talk a little bit about how we work with condition-based maintenance, changing the way we work with maintenance, and how we ensure data democracy on the shop floor. First of all, I wish I could bring you to my factory. This is actually a picture from the factory. And as a huge learning, we start to connect all these fantastic molding machines. And I know many of you probably don't know it, but it takes around 9.2 seconds to make a Lego brick. And it's actually through material that comes in, in plastic, and then it's in small pellets, then it's heated, then it's under high pressure, pressed into a mold, and then after 9.2 seconds after, when you cooled it a little bit, then you have a Lego brick dropping below the machine, and then you're ready to play. But this sounds super simple, but when you have around 5,000 of these molding machines, then it becomes much more complicated, because we produced more than 180 billion Lego bricks every year. So you can see now we start to generate a lot of data if we are not really careful of what we do. Machines like this, they can, for every Lego brick, have a data set around 1,000 parameters. So you need to know what you're looking for, otherwise you'll simply drown in data. That's what we try to do. That was why the data democracy philosophy came up, that, there's a lot of companies out there that offer you fantastic solutions, but they forget one thing: it has to be present for the people that work with it on the shop floor. And that's why we have taken a little bit different approach than maybe others would think. So, first of all, I will talk to the first part of machine maintenance, and then we'll come back to the data democracy. We really, really want to, it's super asset heavy to produce Lego bricks. You need to buy all this equipment, machines, injection molds, and then you start to have that, the production. So we wanted to start on finding how we could actually improve the assets of everything we do. We developed this maintenance logic. So, and I don't expect you to read all of it, but it's really about increasing and going away from, maintenance in a traditional way. Many of us that went to engineering school, we learned that you need to do maintenance to make sure your asset live for a long time. We actually think, why don't we let the machine and using AI to justify when it needs maintenance? And then by that, we could increase lifetime of our assets. And I think that could be a great inspiration for everyone that's here today. Why don't you start letting assets find out when it needs maintenance instead of having people doing it? We all know that experienced person in our supply chain, then he knows exactly, or she knows when an asset needs it, but they can listen to machine, they have a long experience. But those people, they rarely exist in reality, they exist in, in good stories. So we thought, why don't we do it differently? And it comes here. Actually, just a little bit, if those of you that do not know what maintenance is about, then it goes from reactive. That's what we all learned, When your car needs service, you drive it to the car dealer, and they make sure on the tool shop, and then make sure that they do the service. Many of you have probably seen when you get your car back, it's not driving as good as when you handed it in. I've done that many times. So why don't you let the car, in the same philosophy, justify when it needs maintenance instead of having, a counter doing it? That's actually what this is all about. And now it gets a little bit, geeky, but I hope you will enjoy what I'm saying right now. We actually start to put acoustic sensors to the machines, and because everything around an injection mold is about venting, so you need to get, need to get air out. It's not under vacuum, so you need to get air out. But there's also a lubrication to things like that, because plastic contains different materials that make sure they can leave the molds. So that lubrication makes sure that that happens, and that lubrication is also doing so that the profile of the mold will change. The sound profile of the mold will change. So of course we put up acoustic sensor that has a much more refined profile of what they can hear than human ears, and we could actually see the profile changed when the lubrication happened on the injection mold. Now we start to have a data set. We could combine that with the machine data. So what did the machine tell us? It actually changed a little bit the pressure on the machine. We could not notice, but of course the machine could tell us. And what does that give us? That now tells us when the machine knows that there's something that the mold needs to maintain, it will tell us. So instead of just having a counter, like we used to do, after a certain number of cycles, we will do maintenance, like when you take the car to the garage. Now we have, now the machine tells I need maintenance. And I tell you, that has been a fantastic improvement, because now we actually realized we did a lot of over-maintenance. So now we have a machine telling itself when it needs to be, when the injection mold on the machine needs to be maintained. And when you have 12,500 injection molds, then it starts to add up. And thereby, you really could see the benefits. We've just prolonged lifetime of half of our assets by doing this, because we simply know now that things will, have a longer lifetime because we do not over-maintain, and thereby, giving a huge saving. So I hope that could inspire many people to really look at how could they use data to prolong lifetime and have more value of their assets. Secondly, what I want to talk about is how we ensure data democracy on the shop floor. Because, that is, I come from a high-cost country, and if you need to stay competitive, you need always to think of how you can improve the shop floor. And that's what we have looked at. We really want to make sure that data was available for the shop floor workers that should actually take decisions. Because on the shop floor, if you have a factory, you want people to be on the shop floor, not sit in a break room or sit at desks. So that's why we did this data democracy for connected worker. And we actually went out and chose an iPhone. And many people have to ask, why did you take a consumer product and put it into, a shop floor? Historically, people think that on the shop floor, people use a big rock device, so they really look important and they can scan for many meters. Well, why don't we just take the iPhone? Because the iPhone has such an intuitively way of working for people. And this is not a commercial for Apple or anything, but it was just, and I will actually talk about why we choose the iPhone as the factory device. Also, how the factory device support our journey, and how are we working with it in the future. So, first of all, when we started with this, we know we were one of the first company in the world to put an iPhone on the shop floor. We had a philosophy already from our, more consumer-related working when we did products, working with iPhone. So we had a lot of experience in the company. Also controlling the things on the iPhone we did not want people to have access to. So first of all, there's a lot of cybersecurity you need to make sure. We know how to do that. And we also know how when the regular updates, we all know are rolled out, how we can control that. And there was, even more important, there was also a function we could, on the iPhone, we could close down. We, for example, didn't want people, surf on the internet or download applications we were not interested in. All that we could control. So that was the reason why, first of all, we looked at it. And then we also knew that all that version control, when we need to install a factory device or a device for a supply chain, then we could not have number of versions running out there because we will risk the software would not work at all. Yeah. So how does it actually work? We have done 12 different applications that really have benefit a lot from our global production. And I brought you here 5 that's talking a little bit about how we work. There's one here. Every time there's a problem, people, they are inventing stuff. You've probably seen that yourself. Free text is the worst thing for everything. So we want much more control on recent codes when something happened. We need locking activities because machines are super intelligent. They can tell you what's wrong. So we also need that to be locked combined with what our operators think is wrong. We really wanted to improve changeovers. If some of you know anything about manufacturing, then changeover is kind of the evil thing because you lose stuff, you lose time. So could we improve every time, changeover? Just think of Formula 1. When they change tires, that's basically a changeover. Could we improve that? And last, but also one of those I'll talk much more about is what's called differentiated visual inspection. So could we, instead of just doing everything, inspecting quality completely, equal, and could we find algorithms that were based on data that could help us improve our quality control and being much more efficient. And last but not least, there was also, as I mentioned in the beginning, a lot about energy efficiency, because there's no secret that producing and working with plastic, you also use a lot of energy. So the little story of how we did things. When we started in 2007 with all that, then I asked my developers to come with an idea, and they worked with Six Sigma and all kind of things to find that algorithm of improving quality. And like a lot of IT people, they forgot about people that are in the real life. They came with an iPad. And I thought, guys, what didn't you understand? Operators, they need to have both hands free. They cannot work with an iPad. So they went back and they developed the first app. And I have a short demo of how the app looked like. And since I need to speed talk, the movie is also super fast. So you just see here that's the actual app. And the operator can just really find the app he wants. He can select exactly what inspection he needs to do. And I will tell you a little bit what happens when he has done the inspection. He can find the machine he needs to look at and how he do it. He can find data, what has actually happened to the inspection, when did it happen last time. He can reset it. And then he can also, go back and, there was something else with the product. I need to find that machine. Of course, he can tap in the machine number, or he can do barcode scanning. He find exactly what he needs to do. What date did he need to put in on what the inspection was done. And then he can, again find out what happened. It went super fast. I'm a little bit sorry about that. But the truth is, the algorithm is built such a way, if you do a sample and the quality is good, the algorithm will tell you when to do the next sample. So instead of just doing regular, in our case, after 4 hours, then the algorithm will tell you, no, you need to do it after 8 hours because the sample was good. And it does that after, if you don't find anything after 8 hours, then it will suggest 16 hours, 32 hours, and so forth. We've really improved our quality control with this, and also got an understanding in a company that you cannot quality your way into good control. You cannot control your way into good quality, but you really need to find other ways of doing that. So the app has really, shown us how we can democratize data on the shop floor and bringing data out to those people that need to work with it. That was what I have chosen to bring today. So thanks a lot, and I was definitely also on time.